What a whirlwind the NFL offseason has become with the shocking news that Cooper Kupp, the electrifying wide receiver who once dominated the league with the Los Angeles Rams, has officially parted ways with the franchise he called home for nearly a decade. For fans, analysts, and insiders alike, this development sent shockwaves throughout the league, leaving everyone wondering what this means for both Kupp's career and the teams that might be lining up to add his talent to their rosters. Most notably, the Dallas Cowboys emerged early on as a prime target destination, sparking excitement and speculation about the potential impact Kupp could have on America's team. But as we peel back the layers of this story, we discover a tale filled with emotion, financial realities, injury concerns, and strategic decisions that reflect the complexity of managing NFL rosters in the salary cap era. Cooper Kupp's departure from the Rams didn't come out of nowhere, but it still caught many by surprise given his extraordinary production just a few seasons ago. Back in 2021, Kupp was the undisputed offensive superstar of the NFL. He delivered a historic Triple Crown season, leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. His connection with quarterback Matthew Stafford was unparalleled, culminating in a Super Bowl 56 victory where Kupp earned the game's MVP honors. That season alone carved his name into the annals of NFL greatness and set sky-high expectations for years to come. However, the narrative began to shift as injuries mounted and his role gradually diminished within a Rams offense that was also evolving rapidly. The Rams brought in new pieces and faced salary cap pressures, leading to difficult decisions about which veterans to retain and which to let go. Despite Kupp's pedigree and past dominance, the team made it clear that financial realities would dictate his future. The situation escalated dramatically when Kupp himself announced on social media that the Rams had told him they intended to trade him or move on without his agreement. That moment was bittersweet and raw, revealing how deeply attached he was to the franchise but also the business nature of the NFL. Shortly after, no suitable trade materialized, and the Rams chose to release Kupp outright, a move that saved them millions in cap space but left the star receiver's fate uncertain. For fans of Kupp, it was a difficult pill to swallow to see a player who had given everything to a team suddenly cast aside. Yet for the Rams, this was a necessary pivot. They had already signed another high-profile receiver in Davante Adams, and their roster was transitioning toward younger, cheaper talent. In the salary cap-driven NFL, tough choices often mean letting go of beloved players, especially when injuries raise red flags about future availability and performance. From a purely football perspective, Kupp's injury history in recent seasons cannot be overlooked. While he was a model of durability early in his career, the last few years saw him miss significant playing time, including 18 games over a span of seasons. His production per game declined, his snap counts decreased, and he was often used in more specialized roles rather than as the centerpiece of the passing attack. The Rams coaching staff also integrated emerging talent like Puka Nacua, who took on a larger share of the receiving duties. All of these factors combined to reduce Kupp's value to the Rams in their eyes, despite his undeniable skill set and football IQ. But make no mistake, Kupp is still a player with tremendous upside. His route-running precision, ability to find soft spots in defenses, and chemistry with quarterbacks make him a unique weapon in any offense. This is why so many teams quickly reached out once he became available, eager to explore whether he could still be a game-changer if given the right situation and sufficient health. Enter the Dallas Cowboys, a franchise that has faced its own struggles with consistency at the wide receiver position. For years, Dallas has relied heavily on star receiver CeeDee Lamb to carry the load, but beyond him, the depth chart has lacked reliable, high-end talent. The Cowboys' 2024 season exposed some of these limitations, with other receivers failing to provide consistent production. The prospect of adding Cooper Kupp to the mix immediately sparked interest because of his potential to fill that coveted WR2 or slot receiver role that could open up the offense significantly. On top of that, the Cowboys' new offensive philosophy under head coach Brian Schottenheimer emphasizes precise route running, motion, and timing routes, all areas where Kupp excels. Additionally, there are strong personal and historical ties that make Dallas an appealing landing spot. Junior Adams, the Cowboys' wide receiver coach, coached Kupp in college, suggesting a built-in rapport and understanding of how to maximize his talents. Moreover, Kupp's family has long-standing connections with the Cowboys, adding a sentimental dimension to the potential move. Reports even surfaced about direct recruitment efforts, with quarterback Dak Prescott and C.D. Lamb personally reaching out to Kupp, trying to convince him that Dallas could be the perfect fit for the next stage of his career. The image of such star players lobbying for a veteran receiver demonstrates just how highly the Cowboys valued Kupp's addition. The vision was clear, pairing Lamb, Prescott, and Kupp in a dynamic passing offense capable of making a deep playoff run. However, despite the enthusiasm, the elephant in the room was the financial hurdle. Kupp's asking price, rumored to be in the $45 million range over 3 years, ultimately proved to be a sticking point. The Cowboys, while interested, hesitated to commit such a large sum to a player whose recent injury history raised questions. Reports later confirmed that Dallas was not in the mix to sign Kupp, with sources explaining that the asking price was simply beyond what they were willing to spend given their broader roster construction and cap situation. This financial reality highlights the tension between star talent and salary cap management that every NFL team faces. The Cowboys have made significant investments in their core players and are also working to build depth across multiple positions. Spending heavily on a receiver with a checkered injury record could hamper their flexibility to address other pressing needs. Instead, the team has opted to pursue more modest moves, signing players like Paris Campbell and Miles Sanders to add depth while scouting potential wide receiver prospects in the upcoming draft. This approach suggests a more conservative, long-term plan rather than going all in on a high-risk, high-reward veteran signing. As for Cooper Kupp, his market was surprisingly robust given the circumstances. A dozen or more teams expressed interest, recognizing that when healthy, Kupp remains one of the most effective route runners and reliable hands in the league. Ultimately, it was the Seattle Seahawks who won the bidding war, offering Kupp a 3-year, $45 million contract. This move not only provides Kupp with financial security but also a chance to return home to the Pacific Northwest, where he grew up and played college football. Seattle's offense, in need of dynamic receiving talent after the departure of players like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, fits Kupp's skill set perfectly. The Seahawks' commitment to motion-heavy, timing-based routes aligns with Kupp's strengths, giving him the ideal environment to flourish and perhaps recapture his peak form. From a fan perspective, reactions have been a mix of admiration, disappointment, and analysis. Rams fans mourn the loss of a player who gave so much but understand the business side of football. Cowboys fans are left wondering what could have been, while Seahawks supporters are optimistic about adding a player with a championship pedigree. Fantasy football communities also dissect how Kupp's shift affects value across leagues, with many seeing him as a potential buy low candidate if he returns to full health. In closing, Cooper Kupp's journey from Rams legend to free agent to Seahawk marks one of the most compelling narratives of recent NFL history. It underscores the delicate balance between loyalty and business, talent and health, and dreams and dollars that define professional football today. The Dallas Cowboys' interest demonstrated the high regard in which Kupp is held, even if financial realities prevented the reunion. For Kupp, the next chapter is a fresh opportunity to prove that his best football is still ahead, and for the Cowboys, it's a challenge to build around Lamb and Prescott in new and creative ways. Stay tuned, because this saga will continue to unfold in the weeks and months to come, and we'll be here to bring you all the analysis, rumors, and updates every step of the way.